Well, it does kind of act like a carburetor after all. Whoa! Why is it doing that? That should make a good thumbnail. How are your eyebrows, dude?
I don't know, they're still there, Hope.
Guys, it's been a hot minute since the OBS has been viewed on our channel. Quite frankly, everything. We've been pretty busy around here, but we're back at it, and I got a lot to show you guys since the last time you saw it. Quite frankly, our team has been busy across the board, designing new parts, just working on in the business, and unfortunately, YouTube for us is always second fiddle, but we do it when we can, and we got a few weeks to work on this thing. So our goal is to get this thing fired up, but first I'm going to show you what has been done since last time you saw the truck here at Motion Raceworks. So the rear end's all in this thing. I know you saw a little bit of that before. We got the Menser shocks on this thing. You can see we're actually developing some needed stuff for Motion with our Rife shock sensors. So that's kind of a cool thing that you'll see on all of our builds here. We run into products that we need and then we make them for you guys so that your builds are easier. So the rear end's pretty much all wrapped up. We got the Caltrax on. Had to order a new strap for the fuel tank. One thing that we've done since then is we put our fuel sump on this thing. Now this is kind of a play on a product that's already been around, but nobody really had what we wanted, so we went ahead and made it. It's a 12 ORB fuel sump, and the premise of this thing is you just drill a big hole saw hole in your current tank, and then there's a little slip ring that has threaded holes in, that has a threaded hole in the middle, which also acts as a baffle. You slide that up in there and then you just run that bolt down and tighten it, and there's O-rings on the actual sump itself. We chose to go right in the factory fuel bucket so that there's baffling above the surface as well. This is a big long tank, and we didn't want fuel slosh issues. Brent kind of came up with this idea, and it makes a lot of good sense. So this allows us to put a big sump on this thing so we can feed that MagnaFuel 750 pump. That's a tried and true pump, and we'll show you some of the install on that later. We got our Bonifani flex plate. Has a big billet flex plate for all the torque this thing is gonna make. And most importantly, I'm gonna show you how these headers were built. There's a little time lapse coming up, but you can see the end result. And here's the process of them being built.
So we gotta take this pile of tubing and turn it into headers. A lot on camera, but we ended up getting 2 of the primaries in. They're tight. Go down around the steering shaft. Down to the collector. Came up with this little jig we made out of some scrap steel and an old V-band. And we tacked it to the collector to hold it so we had something to start with. They're pretty tight. One trick when building headers is to keep some cardboard around, and you can jam it in between stuff when you're in a tight spot, and that'll keep it from touching when you actually get everything tacked in place. And sometimes it can help you wedge and hold tubes in place and make building them a little easier, because you have to have about 10 different hands to hold all this stuff. But you also want to keep in mind that you want to be able to change the oil, so you have to get the filter off. You want to be able to run exhaust, so keep it up above the cross member or below, whatever you got to do. But try to think a few steps ahead and plan it out before you just start slamming tubes in there. This side's going to be a little bit tighter because we got a new starter, put that in, but we don't have a ton of room. One other thing you have to keep in mind is be able to take your spark plugs out. I noticed on a lot of headers that I've bought in the past from people, you can't get the spark plug out, or you can't get a wrench to tighten them. So keep in mind on that if you're ever building a set of headers. Make it easy on yourself later on. Just because the tube goes in easy now doesn't mean that you won't be fighting it for the rest of its life.
Really good tip, if you guys are ever building headers or anything piping related, one of these right here is the Catch Meow Swag Off-Road. Makes a sweet quarter van table. Makes life so much easier. I just got to mount it on this carbon wheel so we can move it around. You get one of these pedals too. Amazon, 12 bucks. Plugs right into the wall. And then you plug the port beam into that so you can just hit the pedal and so you just sit there and some guys will, you know, rig up the trigger somehow with a zip tie or a, this one comes with a little Velcro thing, but then you don't have to do that every time. You just hit the pedal and you're on your way. All right, guys, a little update on the Silverado. We got this, the driver's side header complete. It's all tacked together. We got a welder yet, but figure we'll get the other side all tacked in and get that one ready. So we are starting on this side. What do you think there, pal?
This one's gonna be a tight one.
Yeah, this one's gonna be rough because we got the dipstick to move around. We got the starter.
Who you calling dipstick?
That's you. And also, these engines don't sit in the truck center. They're actually 1 inch to the passenger side, so this side is going to be even tighter. So it's going to be real fun, but nothing we can't figure out, right, Brent?
That's right. We got a cut-off wheel and sawzall. Brake clean, bandsaw,
and a hammer. Always need a hammer.
And a 4x4.
Yeah, you never know. We got all the essentials around here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're working on today. We'll give you guys an update here and get it all tacked up.
Yeah. The rest of this side was miserable. Got it.
So one of the trade-offs of me being back and forth to Florida to our TBM business is that sometimes I'm not here for all the stuff, and quite frankly right now we just don't have a lot of staff for the social media for some of these projects, so this is what you get. But these things turned out phenomenal. Brent and Herm did an absolutely amazing job. Craftsmanship second to none. From here, we're gonna fire it up on open headers, but we're gonna build some exhaust once we know everything's in place and good as far as like line routing and all that. So this gets us a long ways down the road and gives us the ability to fire it up, which will be a lot of inspiration to finish off that last detail. This is just something we whipped up on the plasma table, but something you guys might think about is just, I always think about tie downs last on projects, and it's a good thing to think about them first, because once you go to load it in a trailer that first time you go to the track, if you're loading it in a trailer, we might drive this one, you're really wishing you had tie downs. You can see we got the trans cooler mounted under here real simply. Went ahead and put some rib nuts up through here, and that thing should have good airflow. But down here, so basically from here we just got to run lines up to the transmission, which is not in it currently. Awesome, I'm gonna go ahead and get it down and show you some of the wiring that Tyler's done. We actually whipped out the wiring. We thought we were gonna have this thing ready for race week this year, and a lot of things came up. We bought a couple businesses and we've been pretty tight on that whole deal. So at least the wiring's all done pretty much and ready to go, but we'll show it to you now. All right, you can see Tyler loves neon stuff, so we got a lot of orange in there. But we got our, because we don't have CO2 on this thing, we put an electric operator power relay shifter in it. We make this little pedestal that's kind of universal, which works out great for a truck. Puts it up there nice and comfortable. That way you keep your cups in the cup holder and rest your arm on the center console. But we went ahead and utilized a leash wiring board. This street strip board is a very handy thing that kind of does all the electronic functions for you, and mounted the factory computer that comes with the 632 and did all the pass-throughs for everything. We went ahead and utilized the Motion Raceworks lightweight column as well as our 686 dash mount, and then we kind of set up a little starter key switch setup. That one's pretty rough. I mean, that's about a Tractor Supply unit, but it kind of gave us an idea. Maybe we'll make something like that in the future for motion. Like I said, these projects help us come up with a lot of ideas for future uses. And then you can actually get a pretty good view. All the plugs are going to be nice and easy to swap and change, just in case we start, throwing some nitrous to the little girl. That'll probably come later, but we at least made it easy to work on to a certain degree. Other than that, you guys have seen everything up top, so we're going to go ahead and start plumbing fuel front to back with that tank that's there and see where we can go on it. All right, so I think what we're going to do, we came out with this dual outlet fuel filter, single inlet, dual outlet. So it's ORB on both sides. You can actually use a 12 ORB. We're gonna go 12 to 10. So we're gonna go Magna Fuel 10 up to here, and then 2 6s into the fuel rail. We're actually gonna trade those out for 8s. That's kind of nice thing about this. I grabbed the wrong fitting, but these fuel rails already have 8s in them. So the feed line will come around the frame up here, and then I think what I'm going to do is just mount this filter kind of like right here, and then these 2 lines can kind of shoot up, and then the back will actually be the return. It'll go through that fuel pressure regulator. This one will actually loop over to here, and then that line will just drop back down and go to the top of the tank, the factory return. So be nice and clean and simple, easy to change the fuel filter. Open the hood, you can screw that sucker off, change the filter, put it right back on, and you're back in business. That's kind of the name of the game. And this thing saves a big Y fitting, which ends up being about the size of my hand, and an extra fitting. So saves fitting costs, it saves Y, which is easier to package and just a lot cleaner overall. I just really love how this filter makes everything lay out. So we're gonna just shoot a line down here. We're just gonna shoot a line down here, maybe even put a 90 or a 60 on here, but that's a 30, so I'll just shoot a line down here and chase it down the frame rail, away from the headers, and then right up in there. No wire needed. Less leak points, less expensive, and a lot cleaner. Of course, you can do this on the back of the rails and have the regulator on the front, whatever you want to do, but in the interest of showing you guys some of our new products, we put it up front. Nothing wrong with that. Got the catch cans mounted, so made a few tech tip things about this, but basically mounting a catch can high like this and allowing the trans overflow to flow back into the transmission, aka you can fill it over full. That way when it needs the fluid, it can always pull it in and then it'll push it up. So what I'll do is we'll fill that thing and keep checking it, run it, and then just put like an extra half a quart or so in it because it can hold it. And that makes sure that when that pump starts, or when that converter starts to use fluid, it's not cavitating. Believe it or not, on our Copos, that picked up ET in and of itself. I'll show you how we're gonna hook these up here in a minute. All right, if this video interests you, you're likely a small block or Chevy big block fan, and you're familiar with these little grommets that are in a lot of valve covers. Well, we made this grommet to AN adapter, and as you can see, works out perfectly. So instead of having these god-awful ugly breathers just on the valve covers, getting oily and shooting stuff everywhere, that allows us to run AN fittings in line straight over to the Motion Raceworks dual baffled catch can. That way things are cleaner, they're nicer, it actually holds the oil, you can drain it. You're not having oil build up along the actual breather itself, and there's more capacity. So it's all around better setup. This makes it really easy. We sell them as a pair as well as in a kit. So this is a pretty cool little piece that'll help you out if you're building something similar with a grommeted valve. Just like all of our builds, Greg Slack unit ready to go in this 169 Power Glide. This thing on a small tire, I think that's gonna be a good combo. And if there's one thing Greg really knows, it's a bracket style big block Chevrolet. That's right. We haven't played in that game before, but we're about to. So things should make all the torques go to the rear wheel. All the torques we need. I mean, really, this thing, once we put it together, is just gonna be a point and shoot bullet. Yeah. Change the oil once a year, twice a year.
Speed on it, and it'd be easy to drive.
Electric shift. I think this thing maybe put some slicks on it at some point and make it a bracket banger. You guys may or may not know, but one of our employees down at TBM Brakes, his name's Gage Birch, and he wins stuff all over the place. So, Gage, this might be your new rent-a-ride if you'd like to drive it. I don't know if it's your style or not, but see if we can't win some money with the Motion TBM unit. So we're getting ready to throw the transmission in now. Andy's got, you got all the lines run?
Yeah, I think everything, all
Dang,
the lines are on.
that was fast. I didn't even come out of my office and they all happened.
Time.
That's nice. So we got our feed and return. Return goes back up to the top on the fuel tank. Feed, of course, goes to the sump that we have there. And these things are really simple. Naturally aspirated. We might fall in love with this thing. Here we've been doing the hard way all this time. So
Once we give it all the RPM, we're definitely going to fall in love with it.
yeah, and maybe a little nitrous.
That's right.
It should have enough pump that we can feed it some nitrous and just
Some dry nitrous.
dry nitrous right on it. So that might be like 2.0 or something, because it should be going probably low 9s, high 8s as is. Who knows? Maybe you guys will see this at the OG $1 million bracket race next year. We saw a guy win it with a no box. What was that thing? I don't even want to say it wrong. It was a Vega, right?
Yeah, that's a Vega.
No box Vega. So tell me this thing can't qualify. I don't know. We'll see. Man, what do you think?
It's getting close. Dangerous.
We got the A team here. This is like the OG Bald Regal team, really.
Yeah.
So a little tidying up of wiring to do, but we're gonna temporary some of this stuff. Well, I just had some powers and grounds to hook up. Fuel pump's all set, and now we really just need to get this factory fuel tank back up in there. And Andy's already got fluids in it, so man, we might hear this 632 pop off today still. All right, factory tank is in this unit. What do you think, Andy?
Looking good.
Ready to pop off. No drive shaft, so we went ahead and put a yoke in there. Hopefully that doesn't sling out. Other than that, Tyler, how do you feel about your wiring job?
It's gonna start.
No smoke getting let out when we put turnkey?
Maybe.
All right, let's let her down. All right, Tyler, are you and all your orange zip ties prepared for this?
I think we're ready. I like them.
Yeah, can you tell everybody why that we have orange zip ties at Motion
That way
Raceworks?
we don't steal them and take them home.
This guy over here, he's a supply guy.
Feel free.
He said if they're orange, nobody takes them home. So if you own your own business, that's a little tip.
We don't have throttle, so you guys got to run that.
All right.
And are we missing anything else?
No, I think we got no fuel leaks. We've let the smoke out of all the electricals.
I'm gonna plug my ears in here because
It's gonna be loud.
It's gonna be really loud. I'm
All
gonna
right.
line of fire.
All right. Shouldn't need a whole lot. It's not carbureted. Yeah, I think so. It don't need a pump. Just hold it.
Did you put train food?
Yeah. I might need to charge the battery. Go ahead. You don't need it. Yeah. Whoa. Well, it does kind of act like a carburetor after all. Whoa. Why is it doing that? That should make a good thumbnail. How are your eyebrows, dude?
I don't know, they're still there, Hope. The hair gel almost got.
I thought it was plug and play.
Supposed to be. This is GM plug and play though. So.
I've dealt with this before on an LT platform. I know how their plug and plays are. That was a pretty solid fireball.
That was
All right, so we got the O2 unplugged because we haven't built the exhaust and put a bung in it.
Read the instructions.
Me and Tyler had a talk about this earlier today, and I said, let's just see if it starts up on the factory tune. It definitely took Jared's eyebrows off. Jared.
You got the photo. Of the
Good tan. Good tan. Let me see the photo. I need that for the thumbnail, dude. No, well, kind of. Look at it. Like any good Chevrolet pickup truck, staying right in the engine bay.
Ignition on. The pop?
No, it's just, you don't turn it off.
success. All it needs was Andy's. Sorry, Jared. It wasn't really your fault.
I just wanted to burn me.
I have no explanation for what happened there. No, we didn't even do that.
We literally just turned it off, turned it back on.
No idea. Maybe it was flooded.
Well, we primed it a bunch of times.
Yeah,
Like,
it probably said fuel in the
yeah, we
intake.
might have just overfueled it or something. I don't
That's
know.
probably what happened. Actually, now that you say that, you turned the key on and off a bunch of times, it probably did.
Yeah, so. Hey, it runs. Yeah, 70 pounds.
Probably just had like half a quart of fuel sitting in the intake
Yeah.
manifold.
Probably. And then
I
we
love
just
it.
fucking cranked it wide open.
Hey, nice work, dude.
Thanks.
That thing sounds pretty rowdy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
70 pounds of oil.
70 pounds, all right.
Yeah, 70 pounds of oil pressure. So.
The manual says minimum 11 at 1100 RPM.
11 what?
Oil, PSI.
We got 70, bud. We got 70.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty rowdy.
It was charging too, so.
Good deal.
alternator, all that.
Man, that's a successful day.
We need a 4500 plate.
Hey, any nitrous companies that would like to provide a 4500 dry shot, we're ready. We haven't even ran down the track, but we're ready for that. So
Ready for night.
you can make all the horsepower in the world you want, but of course weight matters too. Well, gear and traction, all that stuff. But today we find out what this thing really weighs. What are your guys' guesses? About ready to load this thing down. I mean, from there we know weight, horsepower. We're gonna figure out what its terminal velocity is, which is pretty cool. But I don't know. I'm kind of ahead of time thinking maybe this thing weighs like 3,800 pounds. But it might be lighter than that. It's got a lot of good equipment on it. So, all right, just to prove everybody, this thing's zeroed out. We're gonna go ahead and lower it down. The only thing that is not on it, it's missing the drive shaft. Even the dashboard is back here, so it's gonna throw the weight bias off a little bit. And then the hood is also missing. Other than that, we got seats. Like I said, dashboard's in the back. I guess we're missing water out of here. We haven't filled that up. All other fluids I think are in this thing, so give or take a few pounds, but we'll find out what neighborhood we're in. All right, see what she weighs. I actually got a little extra weight here on the back. 3425 with nobody in it. So figure probably 2 gallons of water. So you're talking about, maybe that might even be a little light. So another 14 pounds and then maybe a 50-pound hood. So we're gonna be about 3,500. I feel like that's pretty light for all steel, not all glass OBS, but otherwise, you know, it's your typical all steel truck. So that's pretty cool. I think that thing, I'll have to look at the calculator, but my original desired guess for this thing to run a high 8, low 9, definitely in, all right guys, next time you see this thing, we hope to have the brakes bled. We hope to have it on the ground and ready to do a parking lot burnout.
Yeah, it's ready.
I mean, pretty much most of our parking lot's covered in burnouts at this point, so what's one more? We're gonna put this dash pad back in with the old carpet and clean her up. Hopefully make a couple rips before it gets too cold down here or up here in Iowa, but it's not looking good right now.
Yeah, it's getting cold fast.
There is still corn sitting there, but we're gonna have to make some good headway real quick, but I think we'll get there. And then after that, just one more for the collection. He'll go hang out with El Toro and all of its rusty goodness. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you love this truck because it's turned out to be pretty darn cool for an old, you know, field truck. It's gonna make a lot of pressure, a lot of horse pressure. So we'll see you guys later. My original goal for this thing to be a low 9, high 8 sinking truck, I definitely think is well within reach. So that's pretty cool. And I look forward to getting this thing rocking and rolling because we kind of know where it's gonna go now. All right, guys, this might be the last video for a few weeks, but we're gonna definitely keep you guys updated on this OBS. We got big plans for it for the future, on and off the track, and really look forward to sharing more content about this one with you. We will talk to you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We love to have you guys on here, and we look forward to your comments, your ideas, and your suggestions. Thanks.